Hi, baby.
Hi.
Mm. Woman rescued after falling in toilet trying to get phone. News at 11. You see it in the locals. Old friend of mine, guy she knows too. Probably don't even want to talk about it. His little twin brothers, those perverts.
Oh, yeah. They were in my
You never
grade.
know how respectable they might have become
Yeah.
in these years.
I'm sure very respectful.
And the funny thing is, she hasn't even heard the stories, but I could tell you stories. It's like, I don't know if I'm sure I even wanted to be a witness to that.
Mm-hmm.
Funny. Yeah, so, yeah, their brother, my friend, old friend, school kid type of thing. He shared a picture with me. And it's got a couple of firefighters standing in what appears to be a state park outhouse. It looks nice on the outside, but it probably looks like all the others on the inside. And if you were blind, you'd know what it looks like. And there's like a caution tape behind them, in front of them, and they're standing there. They're just looking all proud of themselves and happy in their firefighter's t-shirt. They must be in Tennessee or something. It's warm where they're at. And, you know, good guys.
Yeah.
Hang out with them on the weekends, you know, the kind of guy that
Very respectful.
see him in the bar. And, she dropped her phone in there, and she starts wondering, you know, one of those? What would you do, baby?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's a state park bathroom. Yeah. So
they're not always the worst. They're better than a roadside. But
it would be.
Yeah, it depends on what day it is. The Friday is much better than a Saturday, which is much better than a Sunday.
Falling inside.
Falling in.
I can't imagine.
And to think, why did you fall in? Oh.
But you know, my grandma had stories of when she was young, and there was a little kid that fell in the outhouse, and they looked everywhere for this kid, everywhere. You know, couldn't find him, and then finally, eventually, somebody had to go to the bathroom.
And see that.
Can you imagine?
This is why women want us to put the toilet seats down, and to keep us from falling in. And they've seen this sort of tragedy. Don't let it happen to you. But the phone, the phone's lost. It's not even, shouldn't even be that tempting to go after it, because you're going to have to wash it down with something. Water.
I don't even know if Cavicide and stuff would kill
I wouldn't want to wipe it off. That's a lost cause is all.
Yeah, that's
the thing is, COVID shows in the feces 2 weeks after it no longer shows in the upper respiratory tract. You people have no idea how much I know about COVID.
You should do the COVID playlist that we were always talked about doing.
It was from the beginning, In the beginning, it was just like, look at this shit. And it was just so funny.
Fantastic. And you were just spot on.
It seemed, I was like a week ahead, 2 weeks ahead, sometimes 6 months ahead of the things that they came up with. And it's just like, it's not anything to be proud of. I'm just looking at the information they're giving us on Dr. Radio, and I'm just like, doesn't it make sense? And gosh, I guess you have to know a little before you get to that point anyway, so I guess I had a head start. You people don't know my past.
So good. So good.
But yeah, we thought to get the Step Danny and maybe compile those videos, but back then I didn't have playlists set up very well. I didn't know that much at all, and I still know very little, but it's become more convenient.
You know enough.
It's become more convenient. But to have her compile these things, and not the whole damn video, you know, sometimes there's only just one line that means anything. But yeah, we'll have to do that. So yeah, worry about disease and everything in there. And it made me think, the phone is gone, but my watch. I had an Iron Man watch in China that I had hooked into my belt buckle. My belt itself. Because being a paratrooper, you learn in airborne training, they better keep telling it, that everybody that's been through airborne training in the military has gone through the first of the 507th. Either, you know, I was in Bravo Company, and we had dog. They took it on a jump once to make sure it was airborne. This dog that would walk around and bark at people, a little yippy dog. And they said when it got to the ground, it attacked the guy that he jumped with. It attacked him. But there you go. He went airborne on his ass. Airborne dog. But yeah, the thing you learn is you don't wear a watch. And in jump school, if they catch somebody wearing a watch, whatever time it is, when you see it, you're lucky if it's 4:50 in the morning. You have to do that many push-ups throughout the day. And every once in a while, one of the black hats, the cadre, would scream out, "Timekeeper!" And the guy had to drop and do as many push-ups as he could, and until he eventually, throughout the day, got to 4:55 in the morning, or somehow he'd gotten away with it until 8:50 or something. But yeah, because you could get it caught in the static line, all this stuff, it could get caught, so there are no watches, and I follow that through. I got this. It gets caught all the time on things. I almost got dragged into a machine a couple weeks ago, but I keep wearing it. It's malleable. It'll
you didn't tell me about that.
Well, it's normal. It happens all the time. I shouldn't be wearing it. I'm still faster than the machines.
Oh my God.
But arm right in there. And then I'll get an eye cut out, and I'll have an eye patch.
No hook.
And so I know we're going on and on, but when I was in Kodiak Island, Alaska, after BD and I did the fished for halibut and jumped off and went to the cannery, we were in some kind of restaurant one day, maybe a Kentucky Fried Chicken, and there was a guy, he was old fisherman, and he's just sitting there at a table near us, and he got and talking to us, and he had an actual hook. He had a hook.
That's awesome.
And I was like, yeah,
That's
we're in
cool.
the right Kentucky Fried Chicken now.
Right.
See, that was before it was KFC. So then the thing is, I went and I was in China, and we were in some of the backwoods places. I'm going to move this a little bit because I'm cutting my head off. That's better. We were in backwoods places, and we walked around the lake. We went from Lugu Lake, the one village we were in where it was still very much native and just starting to get touched by Western tourism. But there was a village around the lake of the same religion, the same belief systems that they had already been moved in on by tourism, and they were singing microphones or nightly dances that they would have for fucking fertility. And then over around the lake, we walked around there and saw the way they did it, and they got microphones, and they're a bunch of old women that's supposed to be the young girls. It's like they made a business out of it. I'm looking at this woman saying, "You're too old to be fucking dancing here." It's just like America. Thing is, I'm over on that side, and they had crappers, their facilities and they had like slabs, like poured concrete type of, that, and then it was a shit trench, and just down a rah. It was just ooh, and you learn to squat. That's another reason you got to go to China when you're young, because you have to squat on toilets everywhere you go, on the floor, and if you don't learn how to do that right, you'll be falling on it, and you got to hit the hole, man, hit the hole, and ooh, Angawa, gonna jump the freak tower. Ooh, Angawa, gonna jump the freak tower. And I'm getting ready to take a pee, and I undid my belt. And normally I have it set up different. I had different pants on or something. I had the watch in the wrong. And I undid my belt to take a pee. And my Iron Man watch with the Velcro, it just slid right off the edge of my belt and straight down into the shit trench. And I was like, and I was reaching for it, and I said, oh, and you have to imagine now, I have to explain, it's an awful pile down there, ridden with months to years, centuries of disease, however long they had concrete. Maybe even before that, they just put concrete over the fucking pit. But they must just burn it every once in a while, because there's nothing you could do with it. That's what we did in Iraq. But it was sitting there on the top of this pile, and these two like that wide, these things, and I'm looking at it, and I said, and it was just sitting on top, so it wasn't just covered and dipped in it. I said, maybe I can get it, and I'm reaching, and I get to the edge of the wall there, I'm getting, and I said, I don't trust it. All the shit that's smeared down the sides of it, and it's all moist and wet, It eats the old stuff. That dust, it eats the old stuff. And so it's just there waiting for you. And I said, I could see wiping my watch off on something, but my arm, I couldn't do it. And I sat there and I looked at it and I said, that was a good watch. And then I realized, well, that's a Timex. And it's designed to be underwater to like 3 meters or 30 meters or something back then, in 2003. That thing is going to last forever. And I realized it's going to get shat upon and shat upon and shat upon. And every day somebody's going to be squatting over that fucking shit trench, taking a dump. Every day at 1:30 p.m. local time, it's gonna go dee 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 dee, and they're gonna think there's a bomb, because it's a Timex, and that's when I had my watch set for. I just set it once at 1:30, and instead of taking the setting off, it went off every day at 1:30 p.m. And so, you think all the old commercials from when we were kids. Timex takes a licking, but keeps on ticking. It's a Timex. Takes a licking and keeps on sticking. Throw it. I don't know. So, yeah, I chose not to go for a Timex, which would still be a very good instrument to have. Would not have been hurt, the Iron Man watch. This woman went into it going for a phone that was already destroyed. Can you ever imagine cleaning that thing off? I say no. I wouldn't even try and get a shovel for that thing. Just let it sit. You're not going to get any information out of it. Sometimes you got to know when to let things go.
That's what I was thinking.
And
sometimes you gotta know when to let it go.
And if you had a Timex,